didn't look like scoring. And, Garnacho and Ahmad tried, but they just didn't have end product on. We created again, no chances for our centre forward. Although Samuel Luckhurst today, I said that's because the players that don't want to pass him the ball, which is an interesting leak to come out about Man United. Rooney stating that certain Man United players are not injured. So obviously, toxic Trafford continues to ring around the world of football. What did you make of all that, KJ, with Rooney saying that players weren't actually injured? The story from Samuel Luckhurst today that Man United players don't have faith in Rasmus, so don't want to pass him the ball.
Honestly, I think it's a lot of nonsense. I love Wayne Rooney. I really do. One of probably our greatest player in the Premier League. Him or Scholes or Giggs, you can argue. But he's definitely up there as a player that I love. Absolutely love Wazza. But he chats some right nonsense sometimes. And unfortunately, I have to disagree with him with this time. Man United players have been rushed back for the entire season. They get injured. They don't get full recovery time. They come back and they get injured again. We saw with Evans multiple times, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw. And it's one of those ones where as a player now, you come into the end of the season, you should just take your time. There's actually no need to rush back. There's no need to try and push yourself to be ready for a game that you're not ready for. Lisandro Martinez wanted to play against Arsenal, and Ten Hag told him no. So this idea that all these United players that are injured aren't really injured and just chilling is false, in my opinion. Because as a footballer, you always want to play. As a footballer, you're always going to try and do your best. And I know
that's not always true, though, is it?
No, but wait. I know there are situations where that's not the case, but I don't think that's the case in this matter, because they've got to play for their careers now. They know Sir Jim is here. They know Wilcox is here. They know Barada's here. They know people are coming in and changing the club. They know that if they're not playing and they look like a liability to the team, they're gone. So of course they're going to be wanting to be playing because they're playing for the futures. Doesn't mean they play well. Doesn't mean they play the best.
But KJ, where's the evidence to suggest that any of that is true? Because let's be honest here, Manchester United has had these problems for the best part of probably about 7-8 years, easily, yeah. And these same players, not all of them, but many of them have been at the club during that time. Their performances have maintained this level, and sort of they've had this lack of care to improve. The likes of, I'm just going to name a few players that have been there for long, not necessarily that the players that have caused the problem, but Luke Shaw. I mean, Maguire's been there a while now. Rashford. You've got a bunch of other players just in the squad, Lindelof, a bunch of players that are just in the squad that don't necessarily play every week, that have been there for a while. Their levels haven't necessarily gone up any time throughout the period of new managers coming in, new changes to the board, any changes being made. I don't feel like these players have stepped up a level or not. So for me, I generally think, where you said a lot of players want to play football, I think a lot of these Manchester United players are past the point in caring. They generally don't care as to how successful the team is at this point, because they know that they just can't trust or they can't believe in the system, which is Manchester United, because it's not been successful at the moment. They just don't believe that it's going to be successful. You've also got, but I feel like you've also got players like Rashford, who have notoriously been here for so long, has gone up and then gone down, gone up and gone down, and he's received no punishment for that. Like, it's okay for Rashford to go up half a season, disappear for half, and sometimes he's even rewarded because he's got a new contract just not long ago off the back of it. So for me, it's like, I don't think these players realize that they're playing their last couple games for the club, or they need to prove it, or they're going to get thrown out the door. Because I think a lot of them think, I'm not going to get thrown out because you're going to need to get rid of me, and they're not getting rid of you anyway. So I think a lot of them are very comfortable where they are. And it is
so you agree with what Rooney's saying? Do you think some Man United players aren't as injured as they're trying to make out to be?
I think there's a 50-50. I think Rooney wouldn't be silly enough to come out and say something like that. Being a manager himself, someone who's just come off the ball, I feel like he would be a bit more careful with his words. But also, I agree with you in the fact that players aren't going to rush back from an injury at this point in the season. If you are feeling 70%, maybe don't go into the game. Wait till you're 100% in the new year. Because if this 70% now, you go back out and injure yourself, that could affect your Euro campaign or potentially the start of next season. So there is truth. There's both of them are true. I think
can I do a conspiracy here? Can I do a conspiracy?
No, I'll come to you in a second. I think this is the thing for me. If you're going to make a claim like that, you've got to be specific. I don't think you can, because the problem we have at United, and I know rivals won't care about this. This is more from a United fan's point of view. If people don't like Rashford and Bruno, they'll say that it's Rashford and Bruno that are faking it and cause hate towards them. If people don't like Lindelof and Maguire, they'll say it's them that are doing it. If people don't like Martial, they say that he's the one who's doing it. The people that don't want Varane there anymore. If you're going to say it, I think you've got to be specific. I think you've got to, either you say who it is so there's no speculation, or you don't say nothing at all, is my sort of view. Otherwise, it becomes open-ended, and you end up fighting. I mean, Rashford and Martinez are back in training. They're just not fit to start. So instantly you go, well, it can't be Martinez or Rashford because they've been assessed and they haven't passed the fitness test yet, but they're back in full-time training. They're back on grass. So it's maybe somebody else. But the Luckhurst one is the one that stands out to me more than anything, because the problem that I have with Man United fans is some Man United fans is their inconsistency when it comes to a source. So when Luckhurst does a hit piece on Martial, he's a scumbag. They come out with this article today that says that players don't want to pass to Rasmus. And the people that would call Luckhurst a liar and uncredible when he slags off Martial, they're now indulging in this story. You see a lot of people do this. A lot of people around the UK will say, don't buy the Sun newspaper. They're liars. They print a story that's negative about Man United, and suddenly they start sharing the story, doing content on the story, sharing the link to the story. But I thought the Sun were scumbags that you don't go near. And I think for me, that's more my issue with this, is people, because it serves their narrative and it serves their purpose, they push the stories out. Because if Luckhurst wrote that today, but it was about a player that particular Man United fans like, they wouldn't. They'd have defended the club. So they're never about defending the club. They're never about being balanced in their views. It's about the pile-on. And then the other side of Man United fans, the ones who are like sort of want the best for the club, they're angry that everyone's being negative about the stadium turning into Noah's fucking Ark. And I'm sitting there like, hang on. We have been saying the Glazers are awful. When I say we, most of the United fans on the terrace. What we always get told is, but they spend money. How can you hate them? We actually get the media for once highlighting the disgusting state that they have allowed Old Trafford to become. And then certain Man United fans are angry. Oh, it's always negative when it comes to Man United. The stadium flooded. Yes, this needs to be discussed. I mean, the whole place was full of. I have never seen anything like it in my life, and that for me was my frustration today. I'm unhappy with where we are.
Look on the bright side. You have a stadium that has a waterfall. Like I mean, that's the bright side. Like you guys have your own private waterfall at the stadium. While
Tottenham have got an F1 track. We've got a water park.
Slipping slides than flipping water world, bruv. Like it's a joke. And on the journalism point, Samuel Luckhurst is a nasty piece of work. Absolute nasty piece of work, because he knew what he was doing when he put that story out. He saw people going at Rasmus Højlund, and he thought, yeah, okay, know what I want to do? I want to get this one source. And you know what? This source could be an academy player. Get this one source, make it out like it's this big thing, and then pull it on this kid.
I don't even think there was a source, KJ. I reckon he thought I thought of this. It sounds good. It sounds. That's all it was.
Yeah, because you can clearly see this is a hit piece that makes no sense. Because if you're looking at Man United right now, if you really look at Manchester United, you look at the striker position, you look at Rasmus Højlund, you know the issues are to do with the system. You know the issues are more to do with the system. Now, if he had said, listen, Rasmus Højlund has struggled this season, and these are areas that he can improve, but these are also the reasons why he struggled, I'm okay with the report, because you're giving an insight into football that maybe some fans haven't thought about. But to come out and just say, oh, it's just because the players don't rate him, so they're not passing to him. What kind of journalism is that? What kind of insight into football is that? It's foolishness. It's absolute foolishness. So I think I'm glad Ten Hag has banned him from Man United press conferences, because he's a scumbag.
You shouldn't be allowed to write articles like that because at what point do you question how can you even where's your source from that? What is your source? Is your source trust me, bro? Like is that your source? Because let's be honest here, like you're saying the players don't like a certain player, so they're not passing to him. But we're watching these players play, we're watching him have good
mention the name of the players. Mention the name of the players.
Again,
like if you're going to
this is also the element. Sorry though, this is the bit of the story. So I look at it from the perspective. Again, if you don't like Rasmus, it's confirmation bias. It's see, I told you he weren't good. And this story proves the players don't think he's good. Therefore, I'm right. And I think there are too many fans that are focused on being right as opposed to looking beyond the end of their nose. For me, the biggest standout here is this. Who the fuck are these players that think they're not going to pass to somebody because they don't rate them? You follow the instructions on the football pitch. And that, for me, is as a Man United fan, that is what I would look at here and go, how dare you say you're not going to pass to a player? That's a much bigger issue at the club by the players saying, you know what? We'll listen to all of Ten. And why I think it's bullshit is this. They're going to listen to everything Ten Hag has said. And this is the problem with the guys that are jumping on this. They also hate Ten Hag. And I get why they don't like his system. All season, the players have listened to the manager by leaving the midfield empty. But the one thing they're not listening to him on is passing the ball to Højlund. Get out of here. Believe in again, when you logically break it down, it makes no sense unless you're seeking confirmation bias to say, I was right. And it doesn't mean Rasmus is beyond that. I know that if Staffy was here, he was meant to be here today, but he pulled out. I know he had work. He'll say, the excuses. It's not about excuses. He deserves criticism, Rasmus. He is raw and he needs to develop. But believing these stories, I just think, or even giving them any kind of credence, is half the reason Man United, not only did the stadium literally link, it's why the dressing room leaks all the time, because these stories are given credence by the fans, and we play such an important part in this rebuild. And I think we've just got to start coming together a little bit more. And that Luckhurst has had an agenda against Martial. Some of the stuff he wrote about Sancho was ridiculous. He's doing it now to Højlund. And that's also what plays into it. People go, well, my favorite player got abused, so I'm going to join in with somebody else getting it. I just don't understand the mindset at all. It's sad to watch, really. But the focus today should all be on what are we doing to improve. And the other main focus should be what's happening with that goddamn stadium. Because what we saw yesterday when those heavens opened up was an absolute abomination. But again, none of that by Samuel Luckhurst today. Not speaking about any of that, just nonsense about players. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy to me. What's your
the article?
Go on, bro.
Oh, sorry about that, Terry. I was gonna say, I think that the article could have probably just been better if he just came out and said that he doesn't think that Højlund's a good player, because I think that most people would agree with that. I think when you go out there and say that, certain players don't want to pass him the ball, and we have this in American sports as well, where you have journalists that'll come out with a crazy story and it's according to sources. And I always have a problem with these sources, because I'm like, what if it's just this is what you think, but you're putting according to sources so that nobody can question you, because they'll say, oh, I can't reveal that. But I mean, I think either way, whether the article is attacking Højlund or not, he's still a bum. He's not good enough anyways. So to me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, look, he's playing as a striker for Manchester United, arguably the biggest club on the planet, and he's just not good enough. And I think that money that you guys spent on him is going to be a waste at the end of the day, and he deserves to be criticized, I think, whether the article wants to falsely name a source or not.
Okay, so why is he not good enough?
Whenever I watch Manchester United, whenever I watch Højlund, I'm just not impressed. To me, he can't hold the ball. He doesn't really make runs. It seems like he's always just trying to, what's the word? It's like he's always trying to play with his back towards the defender, but it's like he's never putting himself in situations to receive the ball and situations to score. I mean, even look at yesterday. It was that one chance that he had. People say that he doesn't get any chances. It was a ball that was through on goal. He slips off balance. It just, to me, I don't rate him at all. And I don't like his mentality because of things that I've seen after he scored.
Because he celebrated scoring a goal, which you said he's not doing enough. You know what I mean? That's poor.
No, okay, but you know exactly what I'm trying to say. And again, I brought up the Coventry penalty earlier when we were talking about the Nicholas Jackson thing. But to me, I just don't see the qualities from Rasmus Højlund of being a top striker.
Okay, so
and he was never worth that money anyways. The guy scored 9 goals for Atalanta, and you go give them 72 million. for him.
Yeah, that's crazy. We weren't supposed to. We didn't want to pay that much. We ended up craving in. That's what Man United do. Hopefully, that changing this. So Jim, I'm not going to talk about the price because that's not his fault. But do you think, Will, Erling Haaland in this team, in the system, would be looking good? Would we say he looks like Erling Haaland, or would we say he looks like a bum?
Nah, I'd say he looks like a bum because he's not that good anyways. He needs service.
So,
and that's
exactly.
not what Man United are that good at. But okay,
we bought a striker who needs service and decide to not give him service. Now, I agree he can improve in areas like his runs, like his hold up play, like dribbling. I agree in those aspects. But how many opportunities a game does he actually get to show the qualities that he's got?
But he's not putting himself in those situations.
One in 4 games. They don't even send him the ball. 1 in 4 games.
If you're Rasmus Højlund and you're not scoring goals, what else can you bring to the table?
But here's the thing. What if you're being told that is what I want you to do from the manager?